everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live. This is a show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I be Dustin.
I did not see that coming.
I avast, you scurvy dogs.
Happy almost Halloween, everybody.
Tomorrow be the day.
Where we eat lots of candy and brush your teeth a lot so you don't have to go to the dentist and get checked for cavity. Are you going to talk the whole show? Like, maybe
throughout some of it.
Well, maybe we'll do this part. So today on the show, we're going to be, I don't have a thing. I don't have like an app. Today on the show, we're talking, no, I can't say this next topic in that sense. Rust Armor, Hannah Gutierrez Reed has come out with a statement.
John Woo to be directing a non-dialogue action movie.
Rating the best and worst Halloween candy.
And ask us anything.
Ask us anything, which is kind of throughout the show. So just
more.
So ping that in the comment if you want to.
Okay, that's all I'm going to do for today.
How's your throat, huh? How's that working?
It's doing good. Honestly, I'm sorry. Slurpy slurp. Did not mean to do it. But anyways, welcome to the show. We're going to be having some fun and exciting times today. We thought we'd dress up to be a little festive.
My hair is kind of wrong, though. Hold on. I got to put it.
Your hair is beautiful, my love.
Well,
don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I tell myself
I might be
otherwise.
slipping back into the pirate every now and again, just because it's fun.
Whatever. It's a live. F it. We'll do it live. Right?
Exactly.
So today on the show, obviously, we're talking about all those topics and more. Let us know also in the chat, since Halloween is tomorrow, how many costumes do you have? How many have you already started to do the dress up? Because I know some people do it like through the whole, essentially, season.
All year long.
Well, some people can do it all year long. God, these ears. I love mini ears, but sometimes they just don't stay on me, right?
Then they're a little uncomfortable.
They're a little, I think it's not that they are uncomfortable. I think my head is shaped weird. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you have purchased mini ears from the park and they just fit you weird.
They just don't quite work.
And I've got other pairs that fit much better, but other pairs I'm just like, what is this? And let us know your costumes for this Halloween. We would love to know. This is obviously just for the live show today. But I think I've got a Xiaoling one planned, the one from Shang-Chi where she's in the nightclub, in her fight club, the black outfit. And I've got a very simple iteration of the red light, green light doll from Squid Game.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going probably with my pirate costume or as a knight.
And before we start the show today, we want to thank our very awesome friend Chris, Chris's Choice, or Chris, Spider Chris, for sending over some. I'm trying to cover up the. Can you hold that, please?
I did not know that this was a here. Hold this moment.
Shouldn't you know? Don't you know?
Yes, I know them. I now know them.
We're gonna go ahead. He sent us over some amazing stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox it live on air. We were going to do this on Wednesday, but things got really, really busy and things really needed my attention. So I was like, Chris, I'm sorry, I can't pick it up until the next day. But I went on Thursday, and I don't even know if he's here in the chat. He might be busy otherwise, but.
Well, his a holiday week. I mean, it is a holiday weekend, so he's probably working. And we miss you, Chris.
We miss you. I'm gonna message him soon so we can do our spider bot finally. Spider battle. Sean Banks says so they don't have a one size fits all Disney ears.
And it's a little difficult.
Do the kids fit into this?
Well, they might actually have two different sizes. They might have like a kid size and an adult size. But that's probably all they have. I mean, they might not even have that. They might just have one, literally, one size fits all, or one size is all we've got.
One size fit most. One size fits, period. And if it doesn't, it's not that they don't fit. It's one, my hair is so like, I guess straight that it doesn't act like any sort of a placeholder for the ear, so they just slip to the back or front easily, and then they come to like right about here.
Which is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
I can't wear Mickey ears because they just hit right that spot and it just gives me a migraine. So I usually do not wear Mickey ears just because I will be grumpy for the rest of the day. It really does kind of defeat the purpose of purchasing and wearing attire like that. I mean, the whole point is to have fun and be at Disneyland. But if you end up getting a headache and have a migraine, and you're just like,
yeah,
it's not
then
the
you're
happiest
grumpy.
place on earth anymore.
Yeah, I would just make this band a little bit less tight. Make it a little bit more loose. That's more flexible. But I think maybe they do this because it is meant to fit children and adults.
True.
And the babies have the little
teeny tiny ears.
I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and open up this box here while I read through some of the comments. Noah says, guess who I am for tomorrow, aka Halloween. Here's 2 hints. 1, Bazinga. And 2, Knock Knock Penny.
Ooh, I should know this.
I don't know this. I don't know this. I'm too out of touch with some of the stuff that Noah watches, I think.
Bazinga. I should know. Oh.
Bazinga sounds familiar.
Yeah. I don't know why. I'm just like, I don't know. I am not 100% sure. But honestly, that's half of the fun of Halloween is seeing all of the costumes and trying to pick out exactly what some of the really creative ones are.
Oh,
I remember
Sheldon.
going to a party where this guy was dressed all in red and like he was wearing gray shoes, and then he had a whole bunch of Barbies stuck to him, and he was a chick magnet.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
oh my God.
You know, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, that's a cute little
yeah.
Like a cute little play on word kind of a thing.
So according to the chat, to our detectives, and basically people know their stuff, says Debbie and Vanja both said Sheldon in reply to what Noah's costume will be. All right. Before we get to oh my God, I swallowed wrong. Before we get to I am okay, thank you.
Okay.
Before we get to GFan86's question, we're gonna go ahead and open up this box from Chris. Oh, I see Disney tissue paper.
Disney
that
tissue
means
paper
it's
is
probably
always
from
the
Shop
best.
Disney. Thank you, Chris.
Okay,
Chris, you're way too. What is it? You are way
paper.
too kind.
Ooh, oh my goodness!
Pretty.
This is actually kind of cool because
Little
I don't
ASMR.
think I've ever.
Wait. People do this on people do that on TikTok.
Look at this. It is the
This is yours, probably.
Oh yeah, this one's large.
Wow.
This
it's
one is
so fancy.
I love.
You want to take it out of the plastic?
Yes, I do.
Chris is like getting us like this is literally leading us from one holiday to
right
the
into
next,
another.
right into the next. We're already seeing Christmas stuff in stores. Like we went to the Ralph's the other day, our local grocery store, and we saw. I was looking for the Pokemon Oreos, I saw Christmas Oreos already. This is so fancy. We can wear this when is it too early to wear this if we go see Chris?
Oh yeah,
we'll
see him sometime next week.
So it's time after Halloween's fair games. This is so cute. We've got the castle in the front. We got Mickey. We've got Pluto. Wait. We got Donald. And then in the back, this is so cute, Chris. Oh, this is like the perfect, because I've always wanted to buy Dustin a Spirit jersey, but he hasn't found the one that he likes, so I haven't bought him one. So in the back, we've got a little cocoa mug of Mickey and some holiday cookies. We've got Mickey with a hot cocoa in his hand. We've got Chip and Dale. This one's Chip. This one's Dale. And we've got some stuff on the sleeves, too. We've got maybe like a Casey Jr. train. Choo-choo. And then what's on the other sleeve? This is
you also have
detailed.
Like, I love the Disney like on the over the back of the shoulder.
It's so pretty.
Oh, and then you got a hot chocolate mug.
I couldn't sleep. I'm having some bad cases of insomnia lately, like some anxiety, so I couldn't sleep. But this is the teacup. So cute. I love this so much, Chris.
Thank you so much. I have been needing a sweater like this.
A Christmas sweater. You literally don't have one.
I have no.
This is your first one.
This is my first Christmas sweater. I actually have never gotten one. The only one that I have that's it's not even really Christmas. It's a sweater that has Darth Vader on it. But it's a nice sweater.
And it could be worn as a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't have any sort of Christmas decor on it. The next package we're going to open up. Oh boy.
Ooh. You need to open it a little bit more.
Careful.
Oh, wow. That is what? Oh, that is so cool.
Ta-da! The Bad Batch Clone Force 90. Wow,
oh my gosh.
I didn't know they made this.
That's a really cool hoodie.
I didn't know they made this at all.
I like that.
Oh my gosh.
And that one can be yours. Or
I think this might be yours.
Oh, I got
fits.
2.
I think it fits.
Of course, one thing that's really nice
cute
about Wendy is when she does get really big, like hoodies or sweatshirts or things like that. If they're super big and baggy, it just looks like she's wearing one big kind of like dress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like your very own like nice snuggy costume.
Can I see the sweater? It's just so soft. I want to feel it.
It is. I have to admit
so
that
soft.
This is very soft and very smooth. It's not like, rough and coarse at all. That looks like, it feels like it's going to be very comfortable to wear.
Oh wait, I think we got the sizing wrong.
Huh?
I feel like this
Oh, that one might be actually yours?
I think this fits me.
Well, let me see. I
was getting confused. I thought that one might be. I mean, we can exchange.
Well, this is an extra large. So this one might. I'm pretty sure. Now that you think
about
it.
Where's the sizing for this?
It should be on the collar or on the. Oh wait, here's the tag.
It on the collar.
It is not here.
Oh.
Oh well.
Chris, if you're in the chat, let us. That one probably should
work for you. That one's. I'm guessing that one's yours.
It's so cute. I will get you a Christmas sweater.
Yay, Christmas sweater. But Chris, thank you so much. These are amazing.
I'm gonna wear these until February of you guys. If you guys know anything about us, when we put up our Christmas decoration, they don't come down until March of the next year because we're too lazy to put it away. But these are amazing. Let me see the Bad Batch hoodie again.
Sure. Here you go.
Man, how comfy is this?
Clone Force 99.
Clone Force 99.
BB 99.
You can wear this for at least one episode of when we do more reactions to the Bad Batch.
When season 2 comes back.
Yeah. And I say at least one episode because it does get hot with the lights on.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's the one big problem with wearing warm things while you're doing reactions.
Yeah.
So let me put this back.
Chris, I don't think Chris is in the chat, but he'll probably watch this a little bit later. So going to GFan86's question, sorry that it took so long. What is your favorite Halloween movie? Can I give you like just a couple? Because I don't think I can pick just one. Halloween, obviously, would be one, but I also have to say Hocus Pocus because I do watch that every Halloween.
That is true.
Sometimes more than just during Halloween. Sisters, we fly.
Well, so definitely, that's actually right there. There it is.
Yeah.
If you had to think about anything else, that just shows that Hocus Pocus isn't.
That's the two.
Indeed, your Halloween movie.
Do you have any? I know you don't love horror
films. The movie
but...
that pops in my head, if you're like Halloween movie, go now, is Nightmare Before Christmas. I've always liked it because it does combine Halloween and Christmas, and I like that kind of mashup. And also, since I am not a huge horror movie fan, that is one of the first. Now, if I had to pick more of the horror movie genre, I'd probably say like Army of Darkness.
Oh,
I remember,
not to be confused with Army of the Dead that I usually mix up the words on,
or Army of Thieves,
which we'll talk about in a second.
So, but yeah, definitely Nightmare Before Christmas is one of those movies that around this time of year, as soon as fall kind of hits, I kind of just periodically play it somewhere in the background of the house, to where if I'm cleaning or if I'm doing some stuff just around the house, I will have Nightmare Before Christmas going on either during October, November, December, because, it's just that time of year to where it kind of just fits.
Yeah, absolutely. Stardew is asking, how does Halloween special, TV special count too? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I remember the old Disney Halloween treat.
What?
That they used to do. Oh, it's a.
Do I remember? How come I don't remember?
No, you probably wouldn't.
Was
remember.
I not here in the States yet?
We're not here in the States yet.
Okay.
So
what was it?
It was just a series of different like old-fashioned Disney cartoons. It had like the dancing skeletons. And
I remember those.
Those are still there, but what is it called? Definitely, I remember that one. That's one that I grew up on, and they showed hundreds of times. And that talking puppet pumpkin.
That I don't remember.
Was kind of like the host of the Disney Halloween treat.
Or what's the Crypt Keeper?
Oh yeah, the Tales from the Crypt.
Crypt. Yeah, that's
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, my aunt.
I know that's a terrible laugh. Not as accurate as
better,
the actual one.
Better than what I can do. We also just watched the Muppets Haunted Mansion special on Disney Plus. If you are, and I think some of you guys, probably Debbie or Movie Bunch Adam, have said it. That is, if you love Muppets and you love the Haunted Mansion ride, that show is definitely for you. It's meta. It definitely
meta, super cute,
very on the nose jokes and puns for the mention, which I think
it's very Muppets.
It's very Muppets.
Very, very Muppets.
Yeah. Do you do our Muppet dance or?
Oh,
I can't do it, but ears come off.
Putting your hands in the air. And I have to admit, it was pretty cute. I mean, it's less than an hour long. It's definitely kind of worth, sitting down while eating some Halloween candy. And I do find that funny. We don't get trick-or-treaters at our house. So this huge bag of candy is
we never get trick-or-treaters because we're in an apartment. So it's not like kids typically go to apartments to trick-or-treat. They usually go to homes. And I think last year people pivoted to trunk or treat or something like that where they had the cars and you can just throw your candy, but a part of it is going up to the thing and say trick or treat and getting to look at the kids' costume and things like that. Obviously it was a whole new thing last year,
and there are some people, we were driving around Burbank seeing one of your friends, and we were going through some of the residential areas, and there's people that just go nuts for Halloween, and I love it. I think I like people that go nuts for Halloween decorations over people that go nuts for Christmas decorations.
Yes.
Because true, you get the cool lights, you get the cool glitz and glamour with Christmas, but with Halloween is where people go and just make a movie set on their front yard.
Yes.
And some of these, especially when you get down into the
Hollywood
some of the ones on area,
TikTok too.
Some of them those are amazing.
Sorry,
and honestly, I really wonder if there are any places, because I know around us, there's this place called Hastings Ranch. And every year for Christmas, they put up tons and tons of Christmas lights. I'm wondering if there's some place like that, but does the exact same thing, but for Halloween. To where you can just drive up and down the streets and see all of these different Halloween decorations on people's front yards. I remember seeing one on TikTok or Instagram, and they put this huge pirate ship in their the pirate ship had actually crashed into their house.
Creative
kind of a thing. And then there were just skeletons around, and there was just all of these decorations, and I'm just like, that is awesome.
Very, very creative.
So what are also some of your favorite places to go for Halloween?
Yeah, let us know.
I would love probably maybe next year or something, go to some of these little less well-known haunted mazes or people have haunted houses that people can go to
instead of a Halloween Horror Nights.
Instead of Halloween Horror Nights
or
love, Fright Fest.
But...
Don't get me wrong, those are amazing places to go. But sometimes the little mom and pop places are sometimes just so fun.
Yeah,
so
they
much
get
more
a little
intimate.
bit more creative.
Yeah.
This year I'm thinking that, smaller home-owned businesses are a little bit less likely to do a thing because of COVID, and what kind of perimeter are they really operating? Do they need to operate within for it to be COVID safe or whatever? So I know I've seen some friends have gone to the LA Haunted Hayride. Obviously, Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, which we have a vlog of. It's 25 minutes, but we hit all the mazes. So if you want to check that out, it's pretty cool.
It seems so long ago, but it was only right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because we got press night.
Okay, let's see. I got to go back to that thing that question. I lost the question. I think it was basically asking if we were going to review Antlers. I'm going to say yes, I am going to review it. I just haven't had the chance to see it yet, so I can't review it until I do. This week's just been crazy, extremely busy, and that's why I've not had the time. I haven't even had the time to see Last Night in Soho, because I was going to go to this one screening, and then some things happen in the apartment, i.e. our water heater has a crack in it. It's leaking all over the place. It's still leaking. So I couldn't leave that day because it had happened, and it was kind of crazy. It was a lot crazy. And honestly,
then I have to admit, my family, not just me, but my family must have been cursed by some water demon, because
y'all need to get saged.
We do not have good luck with water. Our house has been flooded by multiple different things. We've constantly have leaks and broken pipes. It's something with water in our family just does not go together.
I'm gonna ask Miss Grace Hancock for some Reiki to balance out that energy, at least for you, so it doesn't affect where we live. Because I've never had anything with water my entire life until now. Until now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so to Youngblood 46, yes, there will be a review for Inlers, but it just won't come until after I watch the film, which I don't even know when that will be, but I really want to see it because I've heard very, very good things about it. And then I keep seeing questions regards to Eternals, so I'm gonna find some of them. Oh my gosh, I don't know why all of a sudden I can't find any.
Well, I think I remember seeing one that did mention whether or not we believe that it deserves the
Here
rotten...
it is. One of many questions that's come in for the Eternals. The Traveling Crew says, do you think Eternals deserves the Rotten Tomato? I just checked. It's at 60, which means it's still rated fresh.
Oh, okay. So it dropped down and then came back up.
I'm guessing so. And then so there, I know there was another question, and I want to try to find it.
About Eternals?
Yes.
I must have completely have missed it.
Can you look for them while you're...
But of course, I'd be happy to. But honestly, don't get me wrong. If you guys want to get a more detailed review, we do have our non-spoiler review of the Eternals up on our channel. But we did kind of go into it in great detail about what we liked, what we didn't like, and how it wasn't one of our favoritist MCU movies, but I honestly...
Why are you looking to me? Like...
Oh no.
Okay, sorry.
I'm also... I don't want to say too much, but I don't think it deserves a rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. I still gave it a matinee it because it is very beautiful. It is definitely worth going to go see it in the theaters. But I thought it was probably better to go like maybe when there's not many people there, go during like a matinee screening so you can save a couple bucks.
Well, yeah, and if you're in a hurry to see the film as soon as it's out because you're a big fan of Eternals, then you have to do your own kind of make your own decision and gauge how you want to, if you want to put yourself in a theatrical setting indoors with tons of people wearing masks for wearing a mask for 2.5 hours of the film, maybe even longer, unless you're actively eating and drinking popcorn throughout the whole thing, which you could do. I munched, I think, like 1.5 bucket.
Which is surprising.
Because there were just some scenes I was like, wait, what? But then I also spilled a lot of mine because I went to put it down. Right. And then I decided I shouldn't have put it down. I need to have this in my lap. Why did I put away my popcorn? And I went to reach for it, but because it was dark and I was trying not to make noise, I was just like slightly reaching down and I just hit the wrong side and it just went on. I was just like, I can't even scoop that up right now to keep it less messy. I'm just going to forget it. Just forget the popcorn. Because I think I would have made it to 2 buckets.
Yeah.
These weren't big buckets. These are small.
Well, yeah, the small little ones.
They're smaller ones that they give you at the El Cap. So, but in any case, so let's talk about So do we think personally, this is not to speak up to, it's just our opinion. It's not a fact. Do we think it deserves a rotten? I don't think so.
No.
It may not be my favorite MCU film, but I don't think it's anywhere near a rotten. But again, this is just our opinion. Everybody views movies and absorb movies and everybody's perception's a little bit different. So you want to make sure you're just open to that. Just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean you in turn also have to not like it. You can absolutely love it, and we encourage that.
Oh yeah, and honestly, but the Eternals is definitely kind of one of those movies that I can see that the audience versus the critics are a little split over, because it is very exposition heavy. It is very character driven heavy, to whereas most MCU movies have a lot more action and a little bit simpler of a storyline and a story arc that has been built over the course of 3, 4, 5 films.
Yeah, and I think that's where to kind of maybe sort of answer Joseph Wyatt's question. Are you surprised how split the critics are for Eternals? I'm actually not, because just in my own circle of friends who are also film critics, all of our opinions kind of varied.
Yeah.
And so I'm usually not like surprised. I actually kind of enjoy sometimes that there's differences of opinions, because you can then have a discussion. And let's just not forget, we're not talking about a cure for cancer. We're not talking about world peace. This is a fun, entertaining film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So have fun with it. Let people like it or don't like it. It's totally fine. I think people are gonna enjoy. I for one enjoyed. I can't speak for anybody else, but I for one enjoyed that it was, to me, very different from the rest of the MCU because it didn't rely on the action. Now, when I say that, it does not mean there is zero action. There is actually plenty of action. All the Eternals are obviously very powerful beings with very different, all the powers are different from each other. So they definitely make a point to showcase all of that, how they fight the deviants and things like that. So, cinematography wise, I think it's absolutely stunning. If you've seen any of Chloe Zhao's film, you already know she's kind of got an eye for this kind of thing. So everything is very pretty. She also focuses, all of her past, I think 3 films have focused more on characters' relationship. So that's where you're going to get more with this film. And I think with her introducing 9 or 10 brand new characters to the MCU, and I know to comic book fans, they've existed for a very long time. Yeah. If you probably have read the Kirby run, you probably haven't read the Neil Gaiman run, but for the general audience who are just going to the theater to just absorb the MCU films, and they're not maybe deep diving into the comic book, you have to think people are seeing movies from that perspective as well. So just because like you understand Eternals doesn't mean the next person sitting next to you will also have that same knowledge. Yeah. So it's very different, and I think that's why this movie is going to be a little bit like, I don't want to call it divisive. It's just a film, right? Like it's a fun time. You're gonna have a good time with it. But I just don't get why people are so up in arms for this movie over a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also because Marvel has a really good track record.
It's true.
And to see this, I think it's the ones down at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes scores are Iron Man 3 and now Eternals.
Thor.
Oh, and Thor Dark World.
Really didn't like Iron Man 3. I would have to say that may be my least favorite MCU film. It's either that one or Thor Dark World. I have to rewatch both in order to determine, but I'm also not in a rush to want to do that.
Yeah, true.
I have tons of other MCU movies that I really, really enjoy through and through.
But it's also that middle story of, say, a trilogy is always the hardest one to nail because you have to, one, continue the story from the first movie and set up for the next movie as well. To whereas the first movie, you just get to introduce your characters and have fun. And the last movie, you just kind of end that saga. But that middle one needs to combine the two and and connect them together and carry its own story forward. So I really do understand why, like, say, Iron Man and Thor did have a little bit of that hiccup, so to speak.
And Steve asks, would you like to see Chloe Zhao return to direct a Eternal sequel? Absolutely. Absolutely would. And I think it would, because of her vision, and this is so different to me than the rest of the MCU, I think it wouldn't be quite the same if it wasn't her at the helm. And I think I would like to see the same director come back so they can continue, like kind of James Gunn has done all 3, well, almost all 3 Guardians films. I say almost because we don't have a third one yet, but he's working on it. So that's what I would like. All right, so with that said, Vanja says, John Wick 4 wrapped filming. Did you see my tweet, Wendy? I believe I saw it. It has filmed, and I did read a report that Keanu Reeves bought very nice wrap gifts for his stunt people. They're like customized Rolex.
That's watches. Amazing too. That I love that Keanu Reeves does that. For what was it called? For the third, I think it was the third Matrix movie. He gave all of his money to the crew, kind of a thing. He was like, you know what? I've already made enough money off of this. I don't need any more.
And that's why you guys like Keanu Reeves. He's not
and he's just a super cool guy. And everything I hear about him is amazing.
I want to meet him. I want to just like sit down and have a conversation with him. But speaking of that, I wanted to talk about this little bit of news. So let me go ahead and bring this up on the banner here. Hang on one second. Okay. So we know that John Wick 4 is coming because that it's just finished wrapping, and that he's obviously had a great time working on the film, working with the stunt team, so much so that he gifted them with a very nice wrap present, because he's just all in all a good human. But we also have this news. So Ana de Armas, who you probably know from Knives Out, and if you've watched James Bond, the No Time to Die film, you can also see her in that. So she is in talks to lead the John Wick spinoff named The Ballerina, or just Ballerina. So let's see, the film would be about a young female assassin who seeks revenge against people who killed her family, which kind of lines up with the John Wick. Just no dog.
You killed
involved.
My dog. You killed my family. I kill you. There's the story. Go with it. And plus, I think we kind of saw a little bit of that world in John Wick 3. I think when we saw him doing the battle, he went to the one people that were training all the ballerina assassins and saying, I kind of want this. Kind of
gave me the Widows vibes. The Widows program a little bit.
It really did.
It's really always fascinating to watch. Based on her performance in both Knives Out, which is a very different role than what her role was in No Time to Die, I would say I would love to see her in this film. I think she's definitely a rising star, and I really enjoy her on screen. So I just can't wait to see more of her in any type of film that she wants to do. I think she can do comedy. I think she can do action. She looked really, really great again in No Time to Die. And I felt like her scene was too short. Her screen time was too, but there was a lot to cram in that film.
Well, wasn't it like a 2.5 hour film?
Yeah, it was a lot to wrap up for Daniel Craig, his whole story. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to this topic here. And there was no easy segue into this one. So we're just going to get into it. We're not going to stay on it for too long, because I think the investigation is still ongoing, but the head armor, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, has spoken out on the fatal shooting on the set of Rust, who says, no idea where the live rounds came from. And I've been trying to keep up as much as I can on the reports and articles. And basically they had found a lead bullet that had come out of the gun that was discharged. That is essentially killed the cinematographer Helena Hutchins. So the statement, I don't know where the live rounds come from. To me, it's kind of worrying. And this is from someone on the very, very, very outside looking in, who obviously has nothing to do with any part of the production. So just giving my opinion here. But if you're the head armor, if you're the main person responsible for all things firearm on the set, and you don't know where the live ammo come from, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
But it's from what it sounds like is that there's a lot of blame to go around to many people.
Yeah.
That this was the reason why this got so bad. This event happened so bad was because there were so many failures at so many levels.
Right.
To where if one or two of these things would have gotten fixed, this event may not have happened. So it's really hard to start putting the blame on just one person when it is a series of unfortunate events.
Yes.
So to speak, that happens.
Yeah, it just sounds like safety, gun safety, firearm safety, all of that was there was some missteps in that, in the fact that Debbie says it here, it can also come from people who were using those guns for target practice. Why were they even allowed to touch any of the guns that's supposed to be used as prop guns? Nobody should be touching those other than the armor themselves or her team and the actor when it's handed off to him for when it's time to shoot. We've said this extensively on a previous live stream. The fact that I keep hearing about the DA, David Hall, that he was the one that reached into the cart, grabbed the gun, and handed it to Alec Baldwin and announced cold gun, which is why he had it in his hand was ready to use, because it was announced to him cold gun. So why was he, another armor, allowed to reach and announce that when technically it should have been her job?
Well, and also in her statement, she said that she wanted more safety practice, that she was denied. She also mentioned that she was doing 2 jobs instead of 1, to where so she was her attention was split in multiple directions. It seems like there were a lot of corners cut, and it seems like it was finally just one too many, and your building just finally collapsed.
Yes.
It's like, it's okay. I mean, when it comes down to it, some of the times it's okay to cut 1 or 2 little corners, but the more you cut, the more you start overlooking this or that, you're gonna run the risk of something really bad happening.
Yes.
And it just finally their little house of cards fell apart. So I think this is one of those things that you need to split blame amongst many different people.
The investigation is certainly not over. We're going to be in this investigation for a long time. MK Songbird says report have come out that there were crew members using prop guns with real ammunition to target practice during downtime. Why? Why was that? That should
not have been allowed.
Nobody should be bringing real ammunition to set. Like, you're shooting a movie, you're not there to play target practice. You're doing a job.
I wouldn't be surprised too if that's one of the reasons why some of the crew were like, "What the hell? We quit. We're gone. We're out of here. This is not the set I want to be on." And honestly, that's what should have happened a lot more. Is the fact that people should have gone like, "You know what? No. I quit. I do not want to be a part of this." Unfortunately, it's really hard to do that, especially in the industry, because then you get kind of branded as, someone who doesn't want to be put forth the team effort kind of a thing. And there just comes a moment to where you've got to be able and allowed to step back and be like, "No, I'm not going to be a part of this."
Yeah. You have to feel comfortable to know you can say that without the fear of losing your job, which is like it's like breeding ground for like a toxic work environment. Like, you're under this pressure. So we have her statement here obtained by Variety, who reads, let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. It says she would like to address some untruth that have been told to the media, which have falsely portrayed her and slandered her. Safety is Hannah's #1 priority on set. Ultimately, this set would never have been compromised if live ammo were not introduced. Hannah has no idea where the live rounds came from. Hannah and the prop master gained control over the guns, and she never witnessed anyone shoot live rounds with these guns, nor would she permit that. They were locked up every night, which is good. I'm saying that the which is good. I added that in. And at lunch, and there is no way a single one of them was unaccounted for or being shot by a crew member. Hannah still, to this day, has never had an accidental discharge. The first one on this set was the prop master, and the second was a stuntman after Hannah informed him the gun was hot with blanks. She was hired on 2 positions on this film, which made it extremely difficult to focus her job as an armorer. She fought for training, days to maintain weapons, and proper time to prepare for gunfire, but ultimately was overruled by production and her department. The whole production set became unsafe due to various factors, including lack of safety meetings. This is not the fault of Hannah. Hannah and her legal team will address more of the rumors and whole incident in the upcoming statement next week. So we'll keep our eyes on that. So again, this is all, continuing investigation. There's going to be more statement that come out, and it flows down, it trickles down from the top.
Yeah.
Right. Essentially. So if she's saying that she asked for these things and they were not met, and kind of goes back to what you were saying, that, I think I read somewhere that this is in fact her second job on set. Her dad is a very famous armorer. Yeah. So it's not like she's like she, by legacy have had experience and training and things like that. But maybe she did feel, and I don't know, but reading by that statement, it kind of gives me the feel that she wasn't able to fight for, which she should feel safe to do so, because we're talking about,
if you're new kind of like to the world, you kind of have this vibe of, okay, you know what, these are producers, they know what they're doing, kind of a thing, and you are more willing to back down. Whereas if you're like her father, who's done this for years, you're like, oh no, you need to fight for this stuff, kind of a thing. And it's one of those things that it's, there's always new information coming out.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable kind of making a judgment call until the investigation has even gotten all of the information, kind of a thing. So it's tragic. It just shows that we still have a long ways to go for, making workplace safety a better thing, to make things, to learn from our mistakes in production, kind of a thing, to be like, no. We have to make sure that no matter how late we're running, no matter how much over budget we are, we have to do these safety meetings.
Safety first. Doesn't matter if you don't want to be there, you are required to be there and listen to the safety procedures so you understand, and we can avoid terrible accidents like this one.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and move on from this topic. Obviously, we'll keep our eyes on it. If there's any more developments, any news that come out, we will talk about it on a future live stream. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already and hit that notification bell, do so you don't miss any of our upcoming streams. And we're going to go ahead and move on to a much lighter topic, which is ranking some of the best and worst Halloween candies. Now, Dustin and I, since we're not now full-grown adults, we don't really trick or treat anymore. I think
we just go out and buy our candy. We're just like, you know what? True. We're going to go to a party. We're going to be eating some good food, grabbing a whole bunch of candy.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually want to hear from you guys in the chat. What is some of your guys' favorite Halloween candy? If you were going trick-or-treating and you looked inside your bag and you're like, yes, I got these. I mean, it's weird. Mine has changed a lot over the years.
When you were like, if your earliest memory of trick-or-treating, what was like the candy then that you got most excited for?
Well, I always loved like Snickers. I always loved Three Musketeers. I always, the traditional ones are ones that are like Twix, Kit Kats. Those are the ones, the chocolatey ones have always kind of been my favorite.
The sticky, now, caramel centers.
I didn't always like Milky Ways, but Milky Ways have now recently become one of my favorites. I really do like the Milky Way little bite-sized ones because they're just perfect for me for some reason. And
oh yeah, I'm seeing the chat like chiming in. Please keep sending them in. We're gonna go ahead and read them in a second.
Oh yeah.
How
about you? So
the very first time I went trick-or-treating, because in Taiwan, like when I was growing up in Taiwan, Halloween wasn't a thing that was celebrated. It was very much like a, to me anyways, like a U.S. Like I learned about it only when I moved to the States. So my first time celebrating Halloween, going trick-or-treating for the first time ever was like 4th, 5th grade. And I was like, wait, you dress up and you get candy? And then I said to my mom, how much do I have to give people for these candy? And she's like, you just get it. And I was like, for free? She's like, yeah, for free. I'm like, but why? She's like, it's just a fun thing. I'm like, but why? Why is it free? Why are people just giving me free
what's
stuff?
The catch?
What's
the catch? What's
4th grade
going
when
on
he was
here?
trying to look for a catch.
There's a loophole. I know
my aunt's like, just put the costume on and go and have fun with your friends. Okay. She handed me a big pillowcase and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Fill up the pillowcase.
And then I saw the neighborhood kids with the pillowcase and I was like, okay, Auntie April, we got this.
Here we go.
So I would say some of my favorite, like I was so young back then and my mom really was very strict about my junk food intake, which is why now I'm addicted to junk food because I completely rebelled against that. And I was like, I'm an adult now and I can eat whatever junk food I want. And then, and as I get older, I'm like, oh, I see why she doesn't want me to eat those because it's all artificial crap.
Yep.
That's addictive and makes it taste good. But
I can see the results right here. The effect of that.
But I would say whenever I got like peanut M&Ms or like plain M&Ms, I would love that. I loved Three Musketeer bars. I loved Twix and Airheads. I loved getting those and Starburst. What I didn't like was those. What's the candy? It comes on a piece of paper and they look like little dots.
Smarties.
No, I like Smarties. They were stuck to a piece of paper.
Oh.
And it's just like sugar. Right.
It's just like a sugar dot. It's like a piece of receipt paper.
Yes.
That has a whole bunch of dots that you kind of pick off.
That's crap candy. I'm sorry if anybody likes it. I hated it. And I remember one year we went to this one neighborhood and it was so popular to give out. I'm like, what is this crap? I tried one and the paper, when you rip it off, a little bit stays on the back of the candy. So you eat pieces of the paper it was awful. I spat it out. I didn't like that. And I think it's not that I don't like Tootsie Rolls. They're fine, but sometimes you get a lot of that. So I was like, so that's another one that I didn't like. I was like, oh my God, more Tootsie Rolls. I wanted chocolate bars.
Tootsie Rolls back then were the really cheap candy.
Yeah.
That, you could buy, 50 pounds for $1 kind of a thing.
Yeah. Nobody in the chat's able to tell me what that candy is.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I remember
Please let me know.
I remember it, but I don't remember what it's called at all.
Yeah.
And I was going through some of that candy, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I love those too.
Let's read some of them.
like Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
Oh, even to this day, I
Reese's.
love Sour Patch Kids with, especially now I love like the Sour Patch Watermelon kit or the Sour Patch Watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good.
Delicious.
I get those at the theater all the time.
Yes.
And
Debbie says Swedish Fish. Funny story. I didn't fully appreciate Swedish Fish until I met Ken Hapsock.
Really?
Yeah, because he'd have them from time to time in the off when we worked together at Collider. And I was like, Swedish Fish. And he goes, you got to try it. It's so good. He's like, got to get the ones from IKEA. I was like, okay. And then you started buying them from Trader Joe's, but they're not called Swedish Fish.
Swimmers.
Which sounds really wrong to my dirty mind.
Really?
I'm sorry.
How do you get
I don't know,
dirty from Scandinavian swimmer?
It just sounds weird. Why not just call like Scandinavian fish instead of and
I think they were trying to change it up just enough,
Scandinavian sea creatures. Sail, like maybe that. Anyways, but I fully appreciate those as an adult, and then I see Sour Patch, Reese's, Twix,
Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, Sean Black says no black licorice. Not good. Gummy bears, love those.
Oh yeah, you get like the little packet of gummy bears.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Bull Pops are great.
There were some brands of the like cheap gummy bears that when you open them, you're like, it was like rubber.
Wait, what?
And they were just terrible. No, of the gummy bear, not the brand gummy bears. There was like an off brand, like, and not even like there's another brand that's not gummy bears, but it was like an off brand of gummy bears that was just hard as a rock. And
so they weren't gummy, they were hard candy.
Yeah, but yet they were still kind of chewy. And it was just really bad.
That's weird. Let's see. JCL says, you're from Taiwan. I don't hear an accent. Funny story. I got made fun of in school because I had an accent. So I try very, very hard to lose it. It comes out every now and again when my mind is working faster than my brain, which is like 50% of the time. So it will come out, but I've worked very hard to lose the accent to the point now, if I have to do an audition that asks for a Chinese or Mandarin accent, I have a very hard time actually putting one in because I have to sit there and talk to my mom for like an hour. I just tell her to talk to me and I have to try to emulate that accent.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing, but yeah, it's because I got bullied for my accent, so I lost. So I tried very hard to lose my accent.
Sour Patch straws.
Sour Patch. It's just Sour Patch.
Sorry, Sour Patch straws. I did not know they made those.
What? Oh yeah, no, they do.
I want to try those. Wait. I've had the ones that are like rope.
It's similar.
And string, but the ones that actually have like a hole in it.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh.
What? You've never had? Once you see the packaging.
Oh wait, maybe I have.
Once you've seen the packaging, you know it. They're great.
I was thinking of some. Okay, yeah.
And let's see. Oh, Malcolm Parker answered my question about the worst cotton candy ever. Candy Dots.
Oh.
Not the gummy dots.
That's
in the yellow box. Yeah, those terrible. Do they still make those? I bet
sure
they
do. I mean, because
why?
It's a super
candy
cheap
buttons.
Candy buttons. It's a super cheap candy to make. And, there's probably still a lot of people out there or enough people out there who buy them and they like them. So, they can still make a business.
Yeah.
Pixie Sticks. If you want to go for the straight sugar rush.
I remember, oh God, do I put this on air? Sure, why not? I haven't worked there in years. So for Halloween Horror Nights, when I was a supervisor for one of the zones, because I didn't have a maze, so I just had like certain streets. So every night you get a giant box. Universal Studios, the theme park, provided this snacks for the characters because we're working them from, I think the event starts at 6, we end at 2 a.m. So that's a long time. And yes, they get lunch breaks and stuff like that, but we like to have a little something in the break room area so they can just grab. So we have some sustenance that they can eat and give themselves energy, or like sometimes you're bored and you just get like the munchies.
Yeah.
So, and I remember when I was a character, it was like that, but the best, like they had like cup of noodle. You're thinking, cup of noodle, but during when it's cold and everything's soggy, your socks are wet, a hot cup of cup of noodle is excellent.
And having that that salt rush kind of a thing, because you are just sweating profusely.
Yes.
And to get some of those like electrolytes from the salt back into your system really helps.
Yes. So
but then when I really started doing Horror Nights. It was like the year that they decided, no, we're gonna go healthy.
Yes.
I'm like, no.
So we got raisins and granola bars and gummies, like the fruit gummies, the Welshes. What else? Like very healthy options, which was great. But a lot of my characters would look at the bucket and be like, hey, where are the cup of noodles? And I knew how important it felt, me and my co-supervisor, how it felt to, because we had both done the event as characters. And we also used to get inside the bucket before they went like on to the healthier route, which I, by the way, super appreciate, because I think that is important as well.
Yeah.
But we used to have pixie sticks and people would like not have it. So we would go to the store, the supervisor and I, and we would buy the cup of noodles and the pixie sticks, and we would hide them in our bags, and then we would dump them all into the bucket. So it was a good time, because like the characters appreciate it. It was a comfort sort of food. The pixie stick, not the best, healthiest thing for you, but it gave them that pop of energy when they need it at 12 a.m. and I need them to keep going for 2 more hours, and they wanted it.
Give me a solid 75%, and they come out with 115%
every time. I've always asked for a solid 70 to 75% out of the gate, because it doesn't mean that I don't want them to perform. I just need them to be consistent energy. And if you can give me a 75% through the whole night, great. They're like, yeah, 75, no problem. I'll conserve my energy out of the gate, 110. And I'm like, stop running. No.
Yeah. Horror Nights
Save your energy.
is if you're working Horror Nights, it's not a sprint. It is a marathon.
It's a marathon.
And you need to pace yourself or you are not going to make it through the night. I remember one night I was actually like, all I was doing was hitting the button, popping out at my one location. And there was a moment when I was so tired. I was like, okay. I was kind of like, oh, this is how many steps I take. And I had my hand there. I had my eyes closed and everything. I'd be like,
well, you were in a mask too, weren't you not?
Back in. And I'd have my eyes closed and I'd just be counting, because they said, oh yeah, you have to pop out like every 8 seconds.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm not going to do every 8 seconds. I'm going to do 10 seconds.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you get exhausted working at these haunted houses, whether it's Horror Nights, Hayride, Fright Fest. I'm like, and if you ever go to any of these, please treat the characters with respect. They're probably exhausted. They're probably pumped up on adrenaline, probably a whole bunch of sugar rush.
Probably working through an injury. Yeah.
Just kind of appreciate what they're doing, and then
just have a good time. You go there to maybe get a little scared, to watch your friends get scared. That's usually the best part for me. I love
it when someone runs, and if you run, they will chase.
Yeah.
So, and then just I kind of have like that. What is that called? What is that song that you have for
the Benny Hill?
The Benny Hill song, kind of going around when they're just chasing one, usually a woman.
Marie says, "Is that a traffic cone?"
It kind of does look like a traffic cone. Oh, actually, you know what? It is. It's from. Oh no, it's not.
I think it's supposed to be like a candy corn witchy hat.
It's a candy corn
witch hat. It's orange.
And it also looks like, what is it? Some of the decorations that they have in Carsland.
The Cozy Cone Hotel.
The Cozy Cone Hotel.
I'm wearing it on my ears. There you go. I don't know. I thought it was cute and I bought it. That's so funny. Let's see. But yeah, have a good time if you go to the haunts. Be appreciative of what the characters are trying to, the kind of entertainment they're trying to provide for you for the spooky season, and just have a good time. We're going to go ahead and move on to this next piece of news. And I found this so interesting that I was like, Dustin, we should talk about this. So
this is a really interesting piece of news, I have to admit.
So John Woo is set to return to direct Joe Kinnaman, who you probably he's done 50 million things, but you probably most recently saw him in Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Both iterations.
As
Rick Flag. And they're going to direct him in a no dialogue action movie called Silent Night. What?
Which I'm kind of like, okay. Honestly, I've actually said a couple of times, why haven't we gotten any movies that are like this? Because what was it? I still remember watching Mel Brooks's movie, Silent Movie, which was, of course, a comedy. But I'm like, this was very well done, and I like the comedy behind it. But to take John Woo's style of action and
iconic director,
iconic form of action, and put it into a silent, or not a silent movie, but a non-dialogue movie, I think would be really interesting.
I am so interested just based on just this premise alone. So sources tell Deadline, according to the Deadline article, that the story is basic as a normal father heads into the underworld. That sounds basic. The underworld to avenge his young son's death. The film is currently in negotiations to be financed by Capstone. So this is, and just the thought of John Woo returning, because he hasn't directed in a long time, I feel like.
Yeah.
So the fact that he is returning to direct this makes me, I don't even feel like I necessarily need to see a trailer. I kind of want to go in completely blind. And just be surprised and be like, tell me this action movie without dialogue. The article even says that Joe Kinnaman will star in a film that will tell a loud action tale without a word of dialogue, which is like, that's got to be interesting for an actor, because now you're not able to express. Well, the good part is, I guess, you don't have to take the time to learn the lines, but also you have to really think about your intent for every scene, and you're like, not to sound stereotypical, but like the motivation, and like I think that sometimes can be harder than, you know, reciting and memorizing like 3-4 pages of lines, because you can express yourself through those words and you can play with how you say it. And this is a very different way of storytelling. So I'm very, very intrigued by this.
In an action format, I think is really cool. I'm really curious on how he's going to do this, what his style is going to be, and just, it sounds so cool.
Yeah.
A non-dialogue action movie.
I'm in.
And I'm just like, okay, that's going to, keep the storyline very simple. A dad going to the underworld to kill the people who killed his son.
Done.
And
that's like taking in John Wick without words.
Yeah,
scary.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And it's just him going into these different scenes, probably kicking ass, killing everyone, getting hurt, patching himself up, you know, pumping himself full of adrenaline, going into the next scene, looking some stuff up.
God.
And
how do you, is it just no dialogue from him? Is it just no dialogue, period? Probably
I think you'll probably, that would be interesting if it's like no dialogue, period, to where you don't even hear the what the hell, you know, even just like background dialogue, you know, of just them, of like bad guys screaming, or I think you'll get screaming, yelling, and
you get some sort of ambient sounds, right? But not they're not going to sit there and have a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah,
that's not happening. Interesting. So we will find out. Wick uses little words, says Vanja, and Wasted Pull. Good point. Essentially, A Quiet Place, the first one, was almost a no dialogue suspense horror.
Well, it was no verbal dialogue. Well, it was very little. They still had dialogue, but it was all spoken through American Sign Language.
Right.
So technically, it was still dialogue between characters.
Okay.
However, I think
like they're not using any form of
no language, or not language, but no dialogue. To where
not even in sign language.
Not even in sign language.
That's interesting. That's real interesting. Wow.
So I would say,
well, that's what we're thinking. Also, we don't know if that's
that would also be something interesting. What if the dad is hearing is a mute? He can't actually talk, so he does everything through sign language. So that's how the dialogue happens. Is between him and other people that know sign language.
Well, I guess we'll find out a little bit more once we get more details on the movie. But I'm just excited that the fact that he's coming in. I think Steve said, "Oh no, it went away." Steve says Jung Woo last direct Hollywood movie was Paycheck, starring Ben Affleck in 2003.
Wow, that's coming up on that's 18 years ago.
Wow, incredible. All right, so to end this live stream today, we are going to talk about just a quick movie review for the film. Let me go ahead and put that up here. Where is it?
Oh, Army of Thieves. One up.
All right. A review for Army of Thieves. This is a prequel to Army of the Dead.
Yep.
Got it right this time. And it focuses on Matthias' character, who is our very genius, expert lockpicker that we saw in Army of the Dead.
I don't know if you would call him a lock picker. More
a safe cracker.
A safe cracker.
He can also pick locks, but he is, yes, I use that term incorrectly.
Because I see lock picker, you know, with their tools,
which he can also do, but he mostly did I'm saying he can.
Oh, no.
If you understand the mechanism of a lock, you can pick it and crack it in any way possible. Just different tools. But yes, his specialty is to kind of with the dial, and you saw if you saw Army of the Dead. And also a big spoiler for those who haven't seen Army of the Dead. You may or may not know what happened to the character Ludwig at the end of that movie. So I guess spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, because we got to talk about that a little bit before diving into the review for the prequel film Army of Thieves. So essentially at the end, or not at the end, but in Army of the Dead, the character did not survive.
Yes.
But I found him when I watched the film. I actually liked his character a lot. I thought he's kind of got that like neurotic, nervous energy. And just the way he saw everything, and the way his love for the history of these locks and wanting to tell that to anybody and anyone who will listen. I find that just incredibly endearing. So I thought, it's kind of perfect that they were going to do like an Army of Thieves. And, it's a heist film. I love me a heist film because that means tons of montages and planning and, car chases and getaway, things like that. So I was excited, and that he was writing, I don't know if he wrote, but he produced and directed and starred in this film, which is a pretty tremendous task to kind of have multiple responsibilities in this film. So he sat down and watched it. And I will say one of the things that, as much as I enjoyed his character in Army of the Dead, it didn't quite feel the same. I didn't feel as connected to this character for some odd reason. Even from like the get-go of the film, after like a few minutes in, I was like, I don't feel connected, even though I love that character so much in Army of the Dead.
And honestly, I think that's what this film really does suffer from, is the lack of really caring for these characters. I really found that since we kind of already know this character's end story, we already know what happens to him at the end of this movie. At the end of Army of the Dead, we really did not care about any of this other evolution of his character, seeing what he looked like before he had confidence in his safe cracking skills. Because in Army of the Dead, he knows he's a badass. He knows that he can crack these kinds of safes, and that it's his life's work to kind of do this, and it's a passion for him. But seeing him kind of get that passion really didn't matter because of the end result. Also, any relationships, any kind of connections that he had in that movie, or he was building in that movie, have no reflection by the end of this movie. There's nothing that happens past it because they're not mentioned at all in Army of the Dead. So except for the one, I guess, the lock shop. That he had, like that's the old man that was up front. But even in the movie, and even Army of the Dead,
the name of the shop, he named it after Natalie Emanuel's character's name in the prequel film. But yeah, it didn't feel as connected to, other than the fact that he obviously survived the heist film and then was hired to be the safecracker for the next heist that he was involved in, which in the Army of Dead. But I felt like the movie was fine, but I felt myself not completely feeling connected and invested in it, where like we sat there and we watched it. But I enjoyed really, his character. Obviously it's the same character, it's the same type of character. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Natalia's performance in it. But for the most part, some of the other characters, like the Brad Cage characters, I just felt so disconnected from. I just couldn't find myself to care for what's going to happen to these characters.
Yeah. And also, I feel like normally during a heist movie, they have some of these really good montages of them pulling off the heist, and then some really good action pieces of like a chase or something goes wrong. I feel like they replaced a lot of those with a CGI insight into what was going on in the mechanism of the lock. And I was kind of like, this feels kind of like a cop-out. So they didn't have to give you those high-stakes action scenes or those high-stakes chase scenes. And the one chase scene that they do end up having is with him on a bike, not a motorcycle,
bicycle.
pedal bicycle. And I'm kind of like, this feels like such a cop-out on so many of the cliches that you go to see a heist movie for.
Right.
And the story of the zombie apocalypse is very much just
barely
thrown in there and put into the background.
And I understand that it's not meant to be a zombie film because it was, one, this story takes place not at the same place where the outbreak was happening, and two, the outbreak happens in the sequel and technically in Army of the Dead. So I understand that it wasn't like a part of it. They mention it a little bit, but our main characters in Army of Thieves was on a completely different continent of the zombie outbreak, so that wasn't going to happen. But
and how some people were just very nonchalant. Oh, a zombie apocalypse, whatever. I don't really care about it. I'm sorry. I don't care where the zombie apocalypse is. If there is a zombie apocalypse happening, it is changing the fabric of civilization.
Yeah, people ought to maybe panic buying all the toilet paper.
All over the world. You could be as far away on the globe from this zombie apocalypse. You are stocking up on guns. You are stocking up. It is now fact that something like this is possible. So the whole world is changing. The whole world is prepping for this zombie apocalypse to come to their doorsteps. Everyone would be locking their borders. It is not, something like that happening is a civilization changer.
Right.
And everyone was just kind of shrugging it off like, oh, the Americans, they are so stupid before having, who cares about it? It's in, and I'm like, are you kidding me? No, that no one would be acting like that.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I really thought we were going to love this movie just as much as or at least I thought, I can't speak for you, but I thought I was going to enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed Army of the Dead, just because it was going to be another heist film in a different setting with at least one of the characters that I really enjoyed. And it just didn't give me that same feeling at all. I don't think it's horrible, but if we were to rate it on the movie rating scale, which I didn't put in the video description because I forgot, but I'll add it afterwards. I would say, even though it is only coming out on Netflix, I would, based on where it goes, I would say probably stream it.
And for me, I'm actually going to say skip it. For me, I did not really enjoy any of the characters. There was nothing really there that I was kind of like, oh, this part you have to see. Or this part is, you know what, it's worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, you know what, Army of Thieves is a skip it.
Well, there you go. That's our thoughts on Army of Thieves. It's currently on Netflix if you want to go ahead and check it out. I don't think it's a terrible watch. So if you feel like you want to, watch it because you don't have anything else, check it out. You still have that one, that one character, essentially same kind of personality throughout this film as he will carry over into the next film. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our final segment of our live stream today. Will go a little bit longer than normal. And this, we kind of for an Ask Us Anything, we kind of asked you to, give us the questions throughout the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and take this time to kind of scroll back up and see what else. For example, Sean Banks says, have you watched any of the new Welcome to Blumhouse movies yet? Yes, I got to watch. I asked for two of them, and I was sent the screening link, but as time would not have it, I was only able to watch one, and that one was Black as Night, and I picked it because I love vampires, and I thought this it's with a lot of actors that I haven't seen before, and I was like, yeah, I want to be introduced to some new talented people and check out this vampire story. I just overall didn't. I don't want to say it's bad. I just want to say it's not for me. I felt like it didn't have as much horror as I was hoping, and the writing wasn't, I wasn't really vibing with the writing. So I watched the whole thing through, but I kind of was slowly losing interest throughout the film, which is sad because the lead, I find her very magnetic, but at the same time, the story itself didn't keep me connected to the property. But I do want to watch some of the other ones. I think there's one called Manor that I really want to watch. I remember when Welcome to Blumhouse, which they released, I think 4 anthology films under the banner on Prime Video. Last year they released, I remember watching The Black Box. And what's the one with Sydney Sweeney, who is the piano player? Those two I watched, and I actually enjoy those thoroughly. But this year I was kind of like, oh, it's not. I don't know why. Just after this movie, I was like, and I ran out of time to watch the other one, so I never got to watch it then. But I can watch it now. So
and I do have to. These are also all of the Blumhouse movies are more along the lines of I'll let Wendy watch it first, and if she's like, oh, Dustin, you have to check these out.
They're not really too scary.
Oh, okay.
Like the Black Box, for example, from last year wasn't. It was more like scary in the sense of like Black Mirror, where you're like, which I love. Are light. And the vampire one I wanted because like in the trailer I thought it was going to be a little bit more gruesome, and they had some of the moments, but it wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't really affected by it. I wasn't really pulled in by it. Let's see. Malcolm Parker says, if they could make a Halloween special of any IP, which would you choose? Chat can answer as well. A Halloween special of any IP.
Any IP. Okay,
Halloween special. Let's think about that for a second.
I think if they really wanted to do like a good, like actually, if you wanted to go for like a scary genre, a scary kind of movie that not very many people have gotten before, if you did like a Halloween special of like Star Wars, but make it to where you tell like the zombie story of like, I think it was called Troopers or something. And they was actually, there was a novel of a zombie breakout or a virus breakout on a Star Destroyer. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. And to tell some of these really scary kind of Star Wars universe stories to where you have certain monsters that are terrifying in the Star Wars universe. You can put a zombie story inside the zombie universe. What is it? The Geonosians. They were a hive mind, and a lot of them were just dead bodies of the species that the queen was able to control.
Interesting.
And when they got deeper into the hive, more and more of these dead Geonosians were being controlled, which it was in the Clone Wars.
That's creepy.
And
that's creepy.
I think it had Ahsoka and Barriss going into the hive.
This is when she was on the run? Or
no.
She was still okay.
She was still a Padawan.
Got it.
And it was really cool and they had a really good horror aspect to it. And I think there's just a lot of stories in Star Wars that would adapt very well to a horror genre.
Yeah. For a Halloween special of any IP, I would have loved to see a Halloween special of the Loki show.
Oh.
I think that would have just been hilarious.
What more horror of What If?
Oh, so more than just like zombies.
Yeah, more like less zombies, but what if there were different creatures from other planets, from different multiverses? You could do some more of, what is that big purple smoke creature that Loki had to fight in Loki? It was it's not Arrakis because that's Dune. But I think that would be really cool. And also just trying to think of IPs that haven't gotten the horror treatment and give them kind of that horror treatment.
Yeah.
Because you can focus a lot on the underbelly of like Star Wars or the MCU and do some of those really fun, just scary, kind of intense, dark.
Give the villains a special. Heck.
Yeah.
Give the Disney villains a special. I love that.
I know they have a few to where I think they do, but that would be fun.
But like,
it's all just stories from the villains.
Where they could have their own town meeting or something something crazy like that. That'd be fun. MK says, I just realized Yang Sang-ho, the director for Train to Busan's Netflix series, which I think is called Hellbound. Yes, Hellbound releases on November 19th, the same day as Cowboy Bebop and The Wheel of Time. Oh no!
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to watch
eyeballs.
Much. Our brains are going to be fried.
Yeah, that's going to be fried. Bleeding Green with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
John writes, what horror or Halloween related movie are we all watching tomorrow? Man, John's been doing, Bleeding Green's been doing like a whole calendar of like what he's doing for Halloween. He's doing a Halloween movie marathon. Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like tomorrow, because we haven't done it this season yet, but we got to put on The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's Halloween and that can kind of take us into that holiday feel
as
well.
But I think he's looking more for like a
horror. Okay.
Something scary. So that's more up Wendy's aisle. But let's see, if I was going to do some kind of horror movie, I think I would try to pick a little bit more along the lines of like Black Mirror kind of things. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching Get Out again.
Speaking my language. Yes. I would say, just because it's like a play on the name for like the Halloween season as well, Trick or Treat, I think, is a good one to watch. You can always default to Halloween. There's also Friday the 13th, which is really, really creepy. I try not to watch lately anyways. Like this season, I've kind of avoided because my insomnia has gotten so bad. But Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, if you want to have some insomnia.
Yeah, so right now, since I'm dealing with insomnia, I probably should not be watching that. But otherwise, if it wasn't the case, I would put that in my on my list as well. Let us know what you guys are going to be watching tomorrow.
Bling also says that, or Halloween related. So things like Hocus Pocus,
yes.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Actually, I think Ghostbusters will definitely be on that list. The original Ghostbusters. Even though I haven't seen the second Ghostbusters in quite a long time.
That's the one with the painting, right?
Yeah, that's the one with the painting.
Ooze. We can watch it. We have it somewhere. Yeah.
And honestly, that is one thing. Ghostbusters Afterlife has come out, right?
No.
Okay. So I won't do any spoilers.
We have a non-spoiler review up on our channel, which
however,
you can check out.
With the way that Ghostbusters Afterlife ends, really gives me hope that we will now get a Ghostbusters cinematic universe kind of a thing, to where we will get just more adventures of what if ghosts were a real thing in the world, not just Gozer, but I'm hoping that we get
other spirits.
We get other things,
like scary librarian ghosts.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping that with the success of Ghostbusters Afterlife, we will get more of a ghosts in the world kind of a thing, and you can just tell all of these different adventures. So I would love to see that.
There you go. And then this question from JCL, who writes, the movie couple, have you seen Tugs, the short-lived sister series of Thomas the Tank Engine? It was created by David Minton and Robert Cardona, the director and producer of Thomas. I have not.
I have not heard of that either.
Tank the Engine?
Tug. Well, you know Thomas the Tank.
Right. Thomas the Train?
Yeah. I think that's what they're talking about.
I'm going to look it up real
kind
quick.
Of a kid's, if I'm not mistaken. It's very much a kid's
oh, yeah. A little
movie.
Tugboat.
Oh, okay.
Cute. It got canceled, I guess. Nope, never watched it. Literally didn't even know about it until you just acknowledged it. So thank you for letting us know about that. But no, haven't watched it. I've seen very, very little of Thomas the Train.
Yeah, I have to admit, it was, I think, it was after my time that I would watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little out of the loop. You know, it's kind of like how the older you get, the more out of the loop you get, because there's new things that are designed to appeal to younger kids that you're just like, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
A super chat flying in from Amr Nail. Thank you so much. Who writes, Happy Halloween. So I don't get the hype with Dune. I watched it in theaters and I felt kind of bored. Visually impressive, but didn't connect with the characters and story. Maybe part 2 will be better. Now that it's greenlit, you can definitely go and see a part 2. Look, this is not the first time I've heard something said similar to this about Dune, that people didn't connect with the character. And I think that's what happens when, you know, in movies like this, where it's you have to give its time to the action, but you also have to give its time to the characters. And because it's a lot of, there's like space politics and political war and danger and acquiring a city and the how do you take over the city and continue the production of spice when basically you are left with unfit equipment to do so on a desert planet that is essentially really dangerous unless you're Fremen and know how to live on it. If you're not native to the planet, it's going to be difficult for you. Combine that with all the mystic and prophecies of being like of that surrounds Paul Atreides.
Yeah, and also I think it's the same reason. The reason why some people don't connect to Dune is kind of similar to the same reason why some people don't connect to Star Trek. It is dense.
Yes.
There is a lot of political intrigue. And if you're not into that, yeah, you're not going to be into either Star Trek or Dune. But for those who are, it has that political intrigue. And I personally really liked Dune.
Yes, we liked it.
I personally thought it was beautiful. I thought the story was epic. But yeah, if it's something, it's kind of like if you're not into sports, you don't really care about the World Series kind of a thing. If you're not into this or that, you're not going to like certain things. So if you're not into the political intrigue, then yeah, Dune is definitely going to feel a little bit of a trek. There's
a lot to absorb.
Yes.
There's a lot of sci-fi terminology that you literally have never heard of in your life, especially if you've never read the book. Like I've never read the book before going to this. And I remember hearing a couple terms. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't understand. I'm lost. And I just kind of stuck with it. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, I think I don't think it's necessarily like bad if people didn't feel connected to it or good. I feel like if you feel that you have the time to give it a second watch, maybe you'll think otherwise. Or if you are excited for part 2, I think that still says something too, that you're still interested enough to see what is going to happen with Paul and Lady Jessica and Chani and all the other characters. Like I'm very curious to kind of just keep getting further into the book so I can be ahead of it and find out what's exactly going to happen and then be able to see it. I mean, it won't be for a few years until we get part 2.
Yeah,
you know, they just got greenlit.
I'm a little bummed that we're gonna have to wait until like I think it was like 2023 until Dune Part 2 comes out, which I'm going to also find kind of funny is the fact that they had some premonitions, some visions of the future, Paul's vision of the future. Like when there's a moment that he's like hanging outside of one of those flying, trying to rally the troops kind of a thing. But now there's going to be like maybe like a 4-year age gap between
Chalamet's gonna age a lot, you think?
And even in the trailer, you saw that one moment to where he's wearing like that gold armor and he's fighting in the desert. He's gonna look 4 years older than he did in his premonition.
I don't know, Timothy Chalamet looks very young, and I feel like both him and Zendaya are gonna like kind of going to like exactly the same. Yeah, they're gonna look exactly the same, and then like just look how Tom Holland really hasn't aged. You know what I mean?
Tom Holland will always be the baby boy.
Such a blessing. All of a sudden he'll like age at 60. He'll go from like I look 19 to 60.
Well, you know, if you're gonna age, I would like to. That's kind of the way to go. Stay one age for a really long time, and then like what is it? There's that meme of I think it shows how. I think like how Asian women age, and it's like the same picture, and then menopause, the little grandma version of and it was just I thought it was really cute.
It was we don't age, we age,
but
it's old. Let's see, couple more questions. JCL says, "What are your favorite classic sitcoms?" Mine are The Simpsons, The Cosby Show, All in the Family. Feel free to answer in the chat as well.
Ooh, okay. That one's going to take me some time. I'm trying to think
classic
of
sitcoms
that I used to watch. I'm trying to think of sitcoms that I would deliberately like say buy the DVDs for.
Oh, okay.
Or sitcom. Now, let me think here. I'm also trying to think of what really falls into sitcom. So something like Firefly. Would that fall into sitcom?
I don't think
because that's not really a sitcom. You're thinking of like Seinfeld,
right?
Friends, to where at the end, well, because Simpsons at the end of each episode, they're always whatever trouble they have always resets back to 1. So the next episode can talk and do anything they want. They barely ever reference previous episodes unless it's some kind of short
part
gag.
1, part 2.
Even though I've only watched I've never like sat down and watched all of this. Family Guy. I like watching little clips and bits and one episode here. Well, if Simpsons.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Kind of, sort of.
That's true. Okay.
I watched a lot of Castle.
It's not a sitcom. That's a procedural.
It's a procedural?
With
okay.
Comedy, yeah. That's not a sitcom. Sitcom thing, you got to think like half hour, right?
Half hour,
like Family Matters, Seinfeld, Friends.
Maybe it was the fact that I wasn't really in. Well,
not into sitcoms?
Something that I would watch religiously was Family Matters.
There you go. That's a sitcom.
That was definitely. I
loved Family Matters. I loved Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World is a really good one.
I don't know if Saved by the Bell can be considered a sitcom, but I definitely watched that a lot.
I think it kind of would fall into that category.
What else did I watch? Growing Pains?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Full House.
I remember watching a little bit of Small Wonders. Do you remember Small Wonders? Mm-hmm. Where they had the daughter that was an android. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was them trying to hide the fact that she was an android that he had built, kind of a thing.
Oh,
and
Elf.
Remember Elf? That's right. Always trying to eat the cat.
Whoa, man, that's funny. Love Entertainment says Family Ties, The Cosby Show, Growing Pains,
mm-hmm. Fresh Prince. How could I forget the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? My gosh, I loved that show.
Yes.
There were so many things that was taught through Fresh Prince, and I loved the reunion episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
That was such a good show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know. I mean, who doesn't know the beginning of that song?
I don't know it word by word. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if YouTube's gonna allow us singing that.
What is your favorite sitcom? Did you like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
She's like, I wasn't alive.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did not see any of the Fresh Prince. See, even Navi's dressed up. She has her little Halloween costume, her Halloween bows on.
This one's almost scratched out.
Cheers. That was actually a little bit before my time, though.
Yes.
Look at her.
Hi, you okay?
It's because I'm holding her like a little.
You got hair on your face.
I'm holding her like a little baby.
Oh, she ate this one. Just partially ate it.
Navi.
My hair.
That's why you have dangly poops.
They didn't need to know that. We're so sorry. And I think with that, maybe that's where we end today's stream.
Oh yeah, great place to end it.
Well, do we want to continue?
Oh no. I'm with Sitcom, unless you have one more really good question.
All right, let me see if I can find another one so we don't have to end on that.
But also, if I'm just thinking about different TV shows that I've loved throughout the ages, yeah, I really loved Castle. Up until the final season, I enjoyed
Fresh Off the Boat as well.
Fresh Off the Boat was a good one.
Until the later season.
Firefly are some of my top favorites.
Mm-hmm.
What I really should do is go through some of my DVD collections and just be like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Because I have.
We suppose it's ill way to ruin things. Yeah. So sorry. So sorry. Oh man, I'm trying desperately to find. I know there are some other questions.
Some other really good questions out there. The Good Place.
Oh, The Good Place. We love that. Such a good show.
That one was good. And I loved also the fact that they deliberately okay, we're just going to be doing, they did 4 seasons? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you getting squirmy, Navi?
She's like, I don't want you to hold me like that.
Honestly, I saw a couple episodes of the X-Files, but I came into it a little late. So back then, it was a lot more difficult to be like, well, I want to see from the first episode. And X-Files is one of those series that you have to watch kind of from the beginning, because then you get a little bit more of that backstory, and it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds.
Yeah.
It's constantly just moving forward. So X-Files, I kind of was like, oh, I like this. But I was only able to catch a couple episodes here and there. So I wasn't able to really dive in deep. So when the whole undertone of the whole underbelly story was a little hard for me to follow. So, but
I miss the X-Files.
Was it Married with Children? I remember it was one of those shows that I just watched. You knew of it. Everyone knew of Married with Children, and I just watched. There was a lot of times where I'm like, "Oh, it's on." I'll watch Married with Children.
Like late night when you got nothing else to do. You're just like, "Sure, I'll put it on." Let's see.
I tried to get into. I watched the first 3 episodes of. Not 3 episodes. First 3 seasons of Lost before I raged quit. Before I was like, "What the heck?"
I made it to the end, but I was angry towards the end.
Yeah, I was really upset. Star Trek for me. Star Trek: The Next Generation. I loved Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. I thought, great series. I'm sorry, go ahead.
This question comes from GFan86, who writes, have you been to other theme park horror nights like Busch Garden or SeaWorld Horror Nights? Didn't even know SeaWorld had horror nights. We don't go to the aquariums too much. I want to go for like just to see the sea creatures. I don't necessarily want to go and watch the big fish in the tank doing performances, because after I just feel bad that they're living in captivity and they can't really technically even survive if they're released into the wild. So it's just kind of like a sad life for them, and then they're sitting there like jumping, we're like yay, and then it's really at the same time I'm like that's really really sad. So but I like going,
especially after seeing that
the Blackfish
Blackfish documentary.
So I like to go for like just look at the actual aquarium parts of it, but then the other part makes me kind of sad to see like
I never actually been to Fright Fest. But I went.
We've never been to Fright Fest.
I went to Not Scary Farm.
You did?
When they were all decorated out for Halloween. That actually used to be a family tradition for my family, that we would go to Knott's Berry Farm when it was all decked out for Halloween. And it was a lot of fun. I remember they used to have right there by the Calico Ghost Mine. We would sit in the car waiting for the ride to go, and right across the way they have like that carving where you can get a sign made, and they had this huge tree, and they would have this gory teddy bear kind of a thing, and when someone would walk by, they would drop the teddy bear right in front of the people and scare them. And we would just sit there and watch that for so many hours because we were just having a blast. So that was one of my happy memories of going to Knott's Berry Farm during Halloween.
I would like to go to Knott's Scary Farm next year. We've gone to Universal Studios Hollywood. Obviously, you guys know that's kind of like our old stomping ground. So we always enjoy going. And I think they do put a lot of care into set design. And obviously the characters, always great energy. I think the one that I probably may not go to voluntarily would be Fright Fest, just because I don't have the best of the memories from working at that theme park. I love the people that I met, and I love the skill as I was able to require from working at said park. So I obviously am very grateful for the opportunity for that, because I met a lot of cool people who I am still in contact with today, and I learned a very specific set of skills. Not to be like taken, that has created work opportunities for me the theme park. So that's really really cool. But just like management and I didn't one particular manager and I don't really see eye to eye, and like that person is essentially like the whole entertainment department. So I'm just kind of like, I tried going back to work this one other gig, and it just like it wasn't a bad experience. It was just okay, but it reminded me of like,
this is why I don't work here anymore.
So not to say that the event's bad or anything like that. Obviously, we don't have a say on that because we've never been, so we can't criticize something that we've never seen before. But I would definitely love to go to Not Scary Farm, because a lot of people seem to have a really good time, and I want to, and I know it's a little bit more on the kid-friendly side, but the Disney stuff, we didn't get to do it this year. I know Late to the Party invited us to go with them, and because of like it's COVID and stuff like that right now, and that we knew we were doing other things, and then seeing older family members later on, we were like, let's restrict our like time in crowded places. So we only picked one place to go this year, which was Halloween Horror Nights. But we would love to go to like a version. I don't know what they're going to do next year, but the Oogie Boogie Bash.
Oh, maybe next year. That's kind of what we'll do. We'll just do like a whole Halloween thing to where we'll try to go to as many of these as we can. And that just sounds like a lot of fun too. Exploring many, many different Halloween events.
Yeah. There's always the LA Haunted Hayride, which you and I also both worked in, but I don't think I've gone as a guest. Have I gone as a guest?
No, I don't
once.
think so.
No, I went to see you that one year, so I had stopped doing it, but you still did it.
Oh, really?
The church one. when they had the congregation set.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. So I went and visited Dustin. Then that was a good time, honestly. It was me, Lou, and Ryan. The three of us went together. It was raining. Yeah. So there you go. That is our answer. And I think with that, you guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to answer MK's question real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. To everyone, what would you consider the scariest movie? Ooh, the scariest movie?
That one's tough.
I haven't been able to
also how you qualify scariest kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And that's tough for me because everything's scary for me.
No, not everything's scary for you. You're fine. I haven't been able to revisit this movie since I saw it, and other movies that scared me, I will still rewatch, even like the Strangers movie. If you said, this is the movie we're watching tonight, I'd be like, all right. But the one that I don't think I can ever rewatch, and it's an older film, and I don't even know if I rewatched it, I would rate it as scary as I have it in my mind. But the first time I watched it, it affected me so much, and that is Event Horizon.
Oh,
Can't do it, won't do it.
That one and like The Exorcist, because I know you have a hard time with.
I won't watch that here in this house.
Body.
And it's just the overall, I feel like the bad energy is going to seep through the screen and come into our house. So I will watch it, but not in my home. We don't own that movie here in the house. We won't own it in the house. Please don't give it to us, because I will donate it to somebody who would love it.
Oh, speaking of it, yeah, that's another one that's very traumatizing.
It's not the film I was more okay with than I was with the TV series. I think I was way too young to watch that TV series. My mom was like, you should watch this with me. It's going to be great. And then I watched it. I was afraid of clowns. I didn't want to go in the shower or go near any sort of drain or like sewer, like manhole, anywhere. Because that's where I was like, that's where he's going to come out. So no. So yeah, I would say not the movie, but the TV series.
Oh, so what is that one? Heritage, not heritage. It's the word that it got passed down from generation to generation to generation.
Baba Yaga?
No. Not heritage, not
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Oh man.
You said that one was really bad.
That was rough. And I watched that on the plane. So I didn't even have exactly a full immersive theatrical experience. The screen was it's probably smaller than an iPad mini. A movie maybe about the same size as an iPad mini. But you have the humming of the plane. You got people very close to you, napping or whatever, and you're watching this film. I was completely tunnel vision in the zone of the film, and it freaked me the F out. The images will never leave my mind. So yeah, that's another one. Put that on the list as well. Hereditary. All right, guys. Should we end it here?
Yep.
This is it.
I think we've had a wonderful time. We have had a wonderful time hanging out with you guys, doing a super long Halloween special with the movie couple. Yar, mateys. Thanks for joining
It's back.
us.
All right, guys. We love you so much. Have a wonderful Halloween. Be safe. Enjoy your candy. Don't forget to go buy candy on November 1st because you get them at very, 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 very discounted prices.
Super cheap Halloween candy.
We're going to do it as well. So with that, we bid you farewell, and we will see you on Wednesday with another live stream.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Har. I don't know if y'all's a pirate term, but I'm using it.